Darth Bane, the rule of two, begins a millennium. Before the Clone Wars, the Sith were extinct, or so the Jedi believed. Their arrogance, their numbers, their infighting all led to collapse. From the rubble rose one man alone, determined to defeat countless Sith, who perished in the Battle of Ruusan. One survived. Darth Bane. The Sith Order had fallen to its own hubris and greed. Bane emerged not as conqueror, but as the last spark of a dying order, understanding that power in numbers had become weakness. Bane created a radical new principle. Only two Sith could exist at once, a master to embody the darkness, and one apprentice to crave it. This was not deception, it was survival, a philosophy born of necessity, carved in shadows. Bane destroyed his peers with the great weapon known as the Thought Bomb. He manipulated his enemies to annihilate both Sith and Jedi. With the Sith leadership gone, only he remained, and only he would guide the legacy forward in secret. For centuries the Jedi believed the Sith were dead, but under Bane's doctrine the Sith grew quietly, operating under masks of power, complicit in the Republic's decline, unseen. The rule of two guaranteed strengths through succession. Each apprentice had to overthrow the master. A brutal test of worth and sacrifice. From the Clone Wars, that legacy whispered across time. Yoda stood on Moraband, the sacred Sith world, and encountered Bane's ghost. It was a warning echoing through the ages, a reminder that the Sith would return. When the time was ripe, Sidious himself claimed in The Rise of Skywalker novelization that Bane's essence lived on through his lineage. Spirits poised within him, the culmination of Sith cunning. In the silence of cosmic night, there was only one Sith, but from him darkness grew. He traded numbers for secrets, he traded chaos for patience. And he ensured that the rise of one named Palpatine was not an accident. It was the inevitable end of a plan that began in the ashes of Ruusan. Darth Plagueis, master of life and death. In the silent halls of Sith memory, no name is more whispered or more feared than Darth Plagueis. Referred to only in legend, he was the Sith who dared to defy death itself. In Revenge of the Sith Chancellor, Palpatine offers a chilling tale. He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. These words, spoken casually yet laden with promise, hint at Plagueis' terrifying mastery over life, death, and the Force. He was not just powerful, he was wise, calculating, and patient. A Sith architect offering knowledge, not just of domination, but of immortal Atiplus, took a chosen one under his wing. Darth Sidious once Senator Palpatine. Together they explored the dark mysteries of the Force, weaving politics and midi-chlorian science into a grand designing some tales. Plagueis even believed he fathered Anakin Skywalker through Force manipulation. A dark myth not yet confirmed as canon, but potent in the tapestry of Sith legacy. The rule of two, born from Darth Bane's design, demanded the apprentice kill the master, a passing of power in blood. And so while Plagueis slept, Darth Sidious seized the moment and ended his master's life. It was betrayal, born of ambition, the Sith creed, in practice even in death. Plagueis' legacy endured in the expanded Rise of Skywalker novel. Palpatine is said to have drawn on the teachings of Plagueis to cheat his final death, whispering that the secret survived long after the body did so. In the hushed rhythm of night, imagine Plagueis, a figure enshrouded in candlelit laboratories, his eyes glowing with purpose, hands tracing the contours of midi-chlorians, power and even life flowing through his fingertips. Sand and silence. In that stillness lies the weight of ambition. A man who conquered death but fell at the hand of the one he taught. He was the Sith who offered infinity and received betrayal. He was Darth Plagueis. Darth Sidious, the final architect. In the shadows of galactic power, where democracy masked ambition, rose a figure more dangerous than any starship. He wore charm like armor, and deception as a mask. His name was Sheev Palpatine, but behind closed doors, he answered only to one title: Darth Sidious. Palpatine was born into Naboo's nobility, cultured, poised, underestimated. In the Senate he was a quiet diplomat, a friendly face amidst chaos, but beneath that facade lay a calculating intellect. Trained in the darkest teachings of the Sith by Darth Plagueis himself, with patient manipulation, he turned crisis into opportunity, a sabotage here, a vote there, When the Trade Federation invaded Naboo, he orchestrated the panic and then emerged. As its solution, he engineered a vote of no confidence that ousted the Chancellor and planted his own seat in power as Chancellor. Sidious silently stoked turmoil. He funded both sides of the Separatist rebellion and the Republic's defense he ensured. The Clone Wars would stretch on giving him emergency powers, control of the military and the Jedi's trust. He groomed Anakin Skywalker as the child of prophecy, offering the forbidden powers of life in exchange for loyalty. When Order 66 was given, his army turned on the Jedi. The Order collapsed in one night, and with it the last threat to his power. In the ashes of the Jedi Temple he crowned himself Emperor. The Republic had died, not with a bang, but a surrender from its ruins, rose. The Galactic Empire, a totalitarian regime, cloaked in the illusion of stability. Sidious was never sated. He knew how death chafed his immortal ambition. He whispered of forbidden techniques, of cloning, of experiments, hidden on distant worlds like Mount Tantus and beyond. Though Vader struck him down, neither training palaces nor death rays could purge the darkness. Sidious returned, fragmented, decaying, a figure of nightmare and ambition. Reborn, he harnessed dark sorcery, Sith cults, and hidden fleets to remake the galaxy under his will. Again, consider the longest whisper you have ever heard. Now stretch it longer. Let it fall across centuries and systems, and that is the voice of Sidious speaking through politics, betrayal, and imagination. A symphony of power, quiet, methodical, final. He was not the last Sith, he was the final one. He was Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, the broken chosen one. In the quiet glow of distant stars, there was once a boy brimming with promise. Born on Tatooine, molded by loss and love, he became a legend. Then he vanished, and from his ashes rose a figure of shadows and cinders. Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker was a Jedi Knight admired across the galaxy, yet his heart was torn by love for the galaxy, and for one woman, Padma Amidala. When his nightmares told of her death, fear overtook calm in the darkness. Whispers of forbidden power guided him into the arms of Darth Sidious. Sidious offered impossible promises and bound him to the dark side. Betrayed by trust, he became a weapon on Mustafar. He faced his former master Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was left mutilated, burned beyond hope. His physical form broken, the Sith gave him a new one, encased in black armor. His breath became a machine's lament. His face was hidden behind a mask that reflected his collapse from light to shadow. Darth Vader did not merely serve the Empire, he embodied its fear. He crushed Jedi, hiding in whispers, and hunted rebels across the stars. Clones and stormtroopers alike trembled at his name. Across systems, his presence silenced hope and heralded dread. He enforced the will of the Emperor, with iron limbs and unwavering resolve. Yet, beneath the hum of the mech and the mask, he was still a man. The coming of his son Luke Skywalker shook that core. When confronted with Luke, Vader struggled between Sith duty and something deeper. In that moment, he saw himself reflected, lost, pained, yet still human at the Emperor's throne. As lightning engulfed his son, Anakin was torn apart by conflicting loyalties. He chose love, he chose sacrifice. He threw Sidious into a reactor shaft, ending the Sith reign and his own life. Anakin Skywalker's eyes closed, not in darkness, but in forgiveness and lighting. Darkness, he was feared; in redemption, he was remembered. Darth Vader was not the loss of a hero, but the transformation of one, a journey through fear into final clarity. A bedtime sigh turned into a whisper of hope. Darth Maul, a weapon forged by hate in the silent darkness before dawn. There was a child sold into shadow on a distant, war-torn world. From that darkness came anger, precision, and destiny. The rise of Darth Maul, born among the clans of Dathomir Mauls. Fate was sealed. When Darth Sidious claimed him as apprentice under the mask of innocence, he became a weapon, trained in meditation, acrobatics, and lethal precision. Forged for one purpose: revenge. On the Jedi on Naboo, his mission unfolded, flashing red against acrylic walls. Maul fought. He struck down Qui-Gon Jinn, but was undone by Obi-Wan in a whirl of blue saber light, plunging into darkness. Maul vanished, or so they thought, scattered across the junk fields of Lotho Minor. The once disciplined apprentice became something else, half machine, half legend. Wholly broken, his mind frayed. Survival alone kept him alive until his brother found him, Mother Talzin, and the Night Sisters healed his body and sharpened his mind. The Sith returned, not through palace intrigue but through brutality and crime. Maul gathered gangs, manipulated underworlds, ruled Mandalore, and challenged Obi-Wan at every turn. When the Republic fell, Maul did not fade. Under the Empire's shadow, he built his own Empire Crimson Dawn, ensuring dissent, had a voice and ambition, had a master. Maul was not destined for glory, he was destined for hatred. Every scar told a story, every duel, a memory of betrayal. Yet he endured, he survived. He was not Jedi, not Sith, yet a warped echo of them both. Soon, we will see his story continue. Maul Shadow Lord will reveal a Sith who once died, who survived, and who refuses to be forgotten. Even under the Empire's iron gaze, there was a boy, then a weapon, then a myth, in the hush of cosmic night. His breathing is still heard, patient, vengeful, eternal. He is Darth Maul. Darth Tyrannus, the fallen idealist. Close your eyes. Imagine a man of grace, cloaked in sorrow. A fallen Jedi, his heart heavy with ideals, now carried on the wind of rebellion. This was Count Dooku, once noble, now Darth Tyranus, began his journey a child of Sereno, taken in by the Jedi, trained by Yoda himself. Dooku became a master, wise, strong, and patient. Even Qui-Gon Jinn was entrusted to him as a Padawan. Still, the Republic weighed on him. Dishonesty, politics, injustice haunted his nights. In one moment he choked a greedy senator. In rage, in another, he watched his Padawan question the Council's inaction. Each betrayal stoked the darkness inside. He walked away, not abandoned, but awakened. He left the Jedi, reclaimed his birthright as Count, hoping to effect justice. But Sidious offered something deeper, power to change the galaxy, not through hope, but through forces. Darth Tyrannus, he became the hidden hand behind the Clone Wars. He convinced star systems to secede. He funded droid armies, and built a conflict to dismantle the Republic from within, all serving his master's hidden agenda. Count Dooku did not strike with fury. He struck with precision, a rapier's grace. His curved hilt saber complemented Makashi style, beautifully efficient, deceiving, lethal. He bested many, and even dueled Yoda Geonosis. The war began, and the Jedi attacked. Dooku fought both Obi-Wan and Anakin, then Yoda, yet destiny closed in. In Revenge of the Sith, Anakin, urged by Palpatine, killed Dooku at his master's side. Another idealist, broken by the Sith's cruelty. Count Dooku stands as a warning in the dark, that seeking to correct what you believe is wrong can make you the worst of what you hide within. He was elegance, twisted, a hero, lost a Sith in regret. Darth Nihilus, the hunger of the Force. In the emptiest corner of galactic memory there exists a hunger older than the stars, a hunger so vast it consumes worlds, souls, and even hope. That hunger had a name, Darth Nihilus. He had flesh, once emotion. Then came Malachor, a super weapon of war. Mass shadow tore devastation across the planet. From its ashes a man emerged, transformed, no longer whole. He became a wound in the Force. His body withered, his hunger eternal. Darth Traya, sensing this void, brought him into the Trayus Academy. He learned not to be the destroyer, but the hunger itself. Alongside Darth Cyan and Traya, he formed the Sith Triumvirate, each ruled by a dark aspect. Nihilus became the Lord of Hunger. He became a force of extinction. Entire planets died before his presence on Qatar. Jedi and innocents alike vanished, only visas. Mar survived to testify to the void he brought. His hunger consumed so much he could no longer remain human. His consciousness dwelled in the armor. His mask was not a disguise, it was his prison, and his tool. Nihilus did not slash or stab, he tore life from existence. He moved through the Force like a ravenous storm, grabbing and extinguishing. His was not power, but inevitability. But hunger cannot last forever. On board his ship, the Ravager he faced, Mitra Surik, and Visas Mar. The ties he once formed shattered. Nihilus was undone by the force he had consumed, his spirit scattered. But legends whisper that his mask remained powerful far longer than he was not Sith, not Jedi. He was hunger incarnate. Fear had a sound. It was the echo of life draining through his hollow mask. He was Darth Nihilus, the hunger that haunted the Force itself. Darth Revan the Knight, who walked between worlds. In the depths of galactic legend there lurks a story of light and darkness intertwined. A journey so profound that even time whispers his name, Darth Revan, the one who once walked as both Jedi and Sith. Revan was not born in shadow, but in hope. A revered Jedi general of the Old Republic, he defended the galaxy with unwavering conviction until war hardened him. Seeking new truth, he ventured into the dark and became the Sith Lord the galaxy feared. With his apprentice Darth Revan, embarked on a conquest using the Starforge, a galaxy-devouring weapon, but ambition's blade is double-edged. Malak betrayed Revan, setting the stage for a galaxy-changing hunt for redemption. Broken and lost Revan's mind was erased. The Jedi remade him this time, a savior once more with his newfound clarity. Revan defeated Malak and extinguished the Sith Empire he had built. His mask, adorned and ancient, became an emblem not of darkness, but of choice, found on Cathar's shores. At once belonged to a lone Mandalorian, who sought to stop genocide. That legacy mirrored Revan's dual path. Vengeance and justice bound as one. Even in canon, his legend endures. Fleets sail under the banner of his name, the Revan Legion. Marched reminders of a hero who became Sith, who became legend. Revan was not just a knight or a lord, he was both. In the silence of your dreams, let his story remind you that the boundaries between light and dark are always within reach, and that even the most fallen can rise and balance. He is Darth Revan. Darth Malgus, the Wrath Incarnate in a galaxy bathed in war's glow, one name echoed beyond fear, born of rage, shaped by shadow. He was not the puppet of darkness, he was darkness incarnate. Darth Malgus, the planet Dromund, Kaz, a child named Varadin, displayed a chilling hunger not long after he attended the Sith Academy. His talent for cruelty unmatched. His master Darth Vindican was struck down by him. From that moment the legend of Darth Malgus was born. He led Sith forces in reclaiming Korriban. Then with warrior might, he conquered Alderaan, but he was painfully wounded, earning a respirator, and a reputation marked by relentless fury. Malgus' defining moment came during the sacking of Coruscant, leading a Sith onslaught through the heart of the Republic. He stormed the Jedi Temple, silencing half the Council and shattering centuries of peace with one stricat. His side was Alina Daru, once his slave, later his companion in war. She became his greatest weakness. To preserve power, he chose severance. Her death marked a shift in his soul. Where love once flickered, only void remained. Disgusted by political decay, he forged a new path, declaring his own empire. He rallied a following that rejected tradition, embracing strength and unity, even as old Sith powers tried to crush him. Though supposedly defeated, legends say Malgus survived through the Third Galactic War, emerging from ruin to command again, a warrior undone, yet undying. He was not Sith in name, he was not Empire in title, he was wrath embodied. Every scar a testament, every conquest a whisper of potential gone unchecked. He is Darth Malgus, the wrath of a dying empire born anew in fire. Darth Krayt, the Sith Empire reborn in a galaxy long after the Chosen One's legacy faded. There came a figure, not born of fate, but forged in memory. Once a Jedi, then warlord, he rose from legend. He was Darth Krayt, who rebirthed the Sith. Where they had fallen, Ashard Het was not born for darkness. He was a Jedi Knight, who survived the Purge, only to be consumed by vengeance. Among Tatooine's sand people, he wandered carrying grief and power in equal measure. Eventually he was reborn on Korriban as Darth Krayt, master of the One Sith, rebelling against the old rule of two, envisioning an army of Sith dedicated to supreme dominion. Centuries passed. Then, in the shadow of a divided galaxy, Krayt struck in 127 ABI. He ignited a war that consumed the Empire. He seized the throne from Emperor Roan, fell purging dissent. With Sith troopers and Moff councils under his command, he molded a new Sith Empire, rigid, oppressive, absolute thunder. His rule, Sith war doctrine, replaced Republic democracy. Mon Calamari were interned, entire worlds were starved into submission. Sith propaganda permeated every broadcast. Coruscant's glittering skylines masked the iron will beneath Krayt's will, but legends never die quietly. Cade Skywalker, descendant of Luke, rallied rebels, Jedi, and hopes across the stars. In a desperate strike inside the Sith temple, Cade faced Krayt in the shadows of ash and Sith teachings. With one final resolute blow, Cade ended Krayt's reign and cast his body into the Coruscant sun. With Krayt gone, the Sith Empire fractured. His one Sith splintered into secrets and whispers. The galaxy began to breathe again. The final rule of the Empire had been broken. He was not a visionary, he was not fate. He was a survivor, a usurper, a legacy reborn and slain by hope. He was Darth Krayt.